Python programming language has over 60 built-in functions to help you code more efficiently. In this video, we will discuss the function getattr. Hi, Python developers. In this video, we're exploring the getattr function, a versatile built-in tool for dynamically accessing object attributes. Whether you're building dynamic applications or working with unknown objects, getattr is here to help. Let's dive in. First, what is getattr? It's a built-in Python function that retrieves the value of an attribute from an object. If the attribute doesn't exist, you can provide a default value to avoid an error. Here's the syntax. Getattr, object, name, and possibly default. The argument object is the object whose attribute you want to access. The name is a string representing the name of the attribute, and default is an optional argument that represents a value to return if the attribute doesn't exist. If the default argument isn't provided and the attribute doesn't exist, getattr raises an attribute error. So why use getattr? It's perfect for situations where you need to access attributes dynamically. Let's cover some key concepts. First, getattr lets you retrieve attributes using strings, making it great for dynamic programming. Second, it avoids hard coding attribute access, allowing you to work with unknown or flexible object structures. And third, it's commonly used in frameworks, plugins, and scenarios involving reflection or introspection. You would use getattr when you're accessing attributes based on user input, configuration files, or other dynamic sources. Perhaps when you're handling objects with attributes that may or may not exist. And you're developing flexible frameworks, plugins, or APIs that work with arbitrary objects. Let's start with a simple example, where we use getattr to access an attribute dynamically. Here we create the class example and define an initiation function, where we have set the attribute name equal to Alice. We use getattr to access the attribute name. So here getattr retrieves the value of the name attribute dynamically based on the string provided. You can also provide a default value to avoid errors when an attribute doesn't exist. Here we provide the default value not available. In this example, getattr returns not available because the age attribute doesn't exist on the object. Getattr is particularly useful when iterating through multiple attributes. Note, we create a class called example with 3 attributes, name, age, and city. Here, getattr loops through a list of those attributes and retrieves their values, returning unknown for any missing attributes. You can even use getattr to call methods dynamically. Here we have the class example, and we've defined a method called greet, which when called will return hello world. In this example, getattr retrieves the greet method dynamically, and we call it like a regular method. Here are some important things to keep in mind. If the attribute doesn't exist and no default value is provided, getattr raises an attribute error. It's a safe way to handle flexible or unknown object structures. And you can combine it with hasAttr to check for attribute existence before accessing it. And that's the getattr function. To recap, it retrieves an attribute's value dynamically based on a string. You can provide a default value to handle missing attributes gracefully. And it's ideal for flexible, dynamic, and introspective programming tasks. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Python tips. Happy coding!